Good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about a pretty important topic. It's kind of interesting. And I'm going to say something that's not really discussed all that frequently, although everyone who knows the narcissist can understand what I'm getting at. So, the narcissist playbook gives them away. It surely does. So, you might be wondering, if you haven't encountered these people in very, very upfront and personal ways, especially like a romantic relationship. You might be wondering, Brian, or whoever it is that you're listening to, why do you guys say that these people are narcissists? Why don't you just talk about how they're mean, or they're vengeful, or nasty, they're jerks, they're difficult people? Why do you say they're narcissists? What exactly is this whole thing? Well, let me explain to you what it is. You see, narcissists are a growing and rampant, now very rampant, tribe, if you will, of people that exist on this earth. They've always existed, but now in these later days, these last days, as I would say, however long that lasts, it's absolutely everywhere. Narcissism is exploding for a million reasons. One is Satan has taken over this world in a way that he never previously has, to an extent and a level he never has, but also because dating sites, social media, internet, age of texting, there's a whole world available to the narcissist and to breed narcissists that has never been, ever throughout all of human history. Believe me, the things available to us now over the last 20-ish, 25 years are unique to human history with the technology explosion. Like I said, dating sites, texting, social media. It's just a breeding ground for this disgusting behavior. So, narcissists are a tribe of people that are very distinct, and they're not just mean, and they're not just nasty. There's a lot more to it than that. And let me tell you exactly what it is and why I know this. It's their playbook. You see, the narcissist follows a playbook. And when I say playbook, I mean it's literally like they have a book in front of them. It doesn't matter if they're black, white, male, female, how tall, how short, what skin color, what hair color, what background geographically. It doesn't matter. If they're covert or overt, grandiose, whatever kind of narcissist they all use this playbook. It's almost as if they have this book right in front of them and they say, now I'll do this, and then when the person does this, I'll do this, and here's my next phase, and here's the next step. It's that methodical. How do you explain it? So let me give you some insight into this. There's two major ways the playbook manifests itself, and why we can be certain that there's a spiritual element to this. The number one big reason, the first one I'm going to mention, is that they have an agenda, a set scheme or pattern of things they do in a relationship. And it goes something like this, with little variations and tweaks. Especially the covert narcissists will do this, but they all will. So they'll start out famously with what we call love bombing, or the euphoric stage of the relationship, where it's all wonderful, it's beautiful, it's roses and daisies, and you're walking on sunshine with this person. And they're going to tell you you're grand, great, and wonderful, and they're going to be everything you ever dreamed of in a person. And they're going to build you up, and you thought you hit pay dirt. You struck gold because you found this amazing person who's everything you could ever have wanted. And they build you up, and that's the mask presented to you. None of this, mind you, is real. You didn't know it at the time. Maybe you figured it out. Hopefully you figured it out, and you could look back. It wasn't real. It was the mask. They masquerade. But the love bomb stage. And then, very methodically, when they know the time is right, when you're seasoned up to perfection, they're going to do something very interesting. They're going to get vulnerable with you. And they're going to reveal some kind of sob story typically about how they've been abused, or this person did them dirty, or this was what their family life was like. And they're going to reveal that to you as though you're the only one on earth who's ever heard it. And they're going to see how you respond. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to size you up. And they're going to say, this person's really empathetic. This person responded favorably. They bought the story. I'm not saying that the whole story is a facade. Some of it might be real, but you're not the only person who's heard it. This is how it always goes. This is how the cycle goes. They're going to get vulnerable. And then depending on how you act or you respond is whether or not you go to the next stage of this, usually. And that means you passed the test. You responded favorably. So now what they're going to do is probably breadcrumb you with a little bit more adoration, fake adoration, and then they're going to get to the very decisive step in their relationship. And guys, this is every narcissistic relationship, not some. They're going to then find something you did. Could be almost anything. As I was told just personally at the end of the relationship I was in, at this stage, it could have been anything, even something way less than what you did. And what I did was basically nothing. But they're going to find something. It could be a text message that was weird to them. It could be some strange thing you said that you didn't mean anything by. They're going to find something, and they're going to let you have it. Bam! Drop the hammer. And a side of them is going to come out that you have never seen in your life. And you're going to say, well, what just happened? Who was this person? I've never seen them in my life. What happened to the person that I grew to have these feelings for, or perhaps fell in love with, or perhaps married, or whatever the case was? And you're not going to recognize this person. Because who the person you're now seeing is the real individual, the one that exists behind the mask. This is the beginning of what they call the devaluation stage. You've passed the love bombing. You've passed the time when they're going to act vulnerable with you and reveal secrets and get you to share secrets and see how you respond. And you responded favorably. You moved on to the next step. I can really get something out of this person. Maybe they can be a doormat. Maybe they are a people pleaser. Whatever it is. And then they're going to drop the hammer and explode on you from something just obscure, probably, that you did. And then it's going to depend again on how you respond. What ends up happening usually is you can't wrap your mind around this behavior because there's cognitive dissonance, because the person you've seen this whole time is nothing like the person you're now seeing, and you're going to try desperately to climb your way back into their good graces and to get that person to be what they used to be, the mask, but you didn't know it was a mask. So that's how this goes on. So what ends up happening is usually after some silent treatment, some abuse, you can't understand it, so what do? You apologize to them for something you never did. Well, this is going to be a pattern for the rest of the relationship. You're going to find yourself apologizing for things you never did, or better yet, apologizing to them for things they did to you. Yes, I know, it's warped. It's warped. And you might be thinking, how do you end up in a relationship like that? And we all ask the same question. Because it's so, all I can tell you is the relationships are so strange if you don't know what you're dealing with, that you just find yourself in a world of hurt. So that's what's going to happen. See the steps: love bomb, get vulnerable, devaluation stage, blow up on you, and the rest of the relationship is going to be the devaluation stage. It's the bulk of the relationship. And you know what it's going to look like? This. Never-ending roller coaster. Up, down, push, pull, love you, hate you. They love you, they hate you. They're good to you for a little period of time, then they just destroy you. Then they're good to you a little bit, then they destroy you. Pick you up and drop you, like a hawk drops a squirrel. Pick up and drop, pick up and drop. And this push-pull pattern just devastates you. It has your mind absolutely spinning in circles after a while. And what develops there is what people then call the trauma bond, where you're addicted to this person. You're addicted to your abuser, basically. They're going to abuse the heck out of you, but you also go back to them for validation. They're the one abusing you, but they're the only one who can soothe you, because this toxic push-pull pattern. That's the devaluation stage. And what happens then is after some period of time, however long that is, they can put up with you, you can put up with them, before they find somebody else they're going to monkey branch onto. Eventually, though, every single narcissistic relationship is going to come to an end. in some way, shape, or form. So what's going to happen is they're going to either find somebody else, your replacement, which they've probably been talking to the whole time and probably been talking to multiple people, because I tell you, they cheat. They all cheat. They all cheat. Even if you just say that's mental cheating. Well, fine. They all do that, and most of them physically cheat. But they get your replacement, or you just get to a point like me where you cannot take any more abuse, and you just know this is horrible. I don't know what this person's about, but I can't do this. Can't do this anymore. And then what's going to happen is the discard, where they get rid of you, they drop you like a hot potato, like you never existed. And then they move on instantly to whoever the person is that they've been setting up or grooming, or the persons they've been setting up or grooming. Or like I said, you get to a point where they cause what's called a reverse discard, where they treat you so terribly that you have to end the relationship. But either way, whether they discard you or you discard them, in actuality, they're discarding you because they caused the end of the relationship. Either way, they caused the end of the relationship. And then what happens after the discard is sometimes they'll come back and they'll hoover you. Days later, weeks later, months later, years later, and maybe occasionally they never do. And that just depends on how much supply they have, how many backup people they have, what position they are in their life, or, whether they ended it, you ended it. Most of them will hoover at some point in time. They just do this. But it depends on so many different things. Occasionally they won't hoover, and the only reason I think they won't do that is if they know that you have figured them out and that they have absolutely no shot at you at all. They're not going to waste their time and energy. That to me is probably the only time that they literally will never come back. But even if you knew who they are, they may still come back. You try to understand them. Just try to understand them completely. You can't. So guys, this is how it does it. They're going to do love bomb, euphoric stage, get vulnerable and open up to you, see if you pass the test, then drop the hammer on something crazy and cause chaos, and then make you crawl back to them, and then they know they have you. And the rest of it is the devaluation stage, that roller coaster, up, down, high, low, push, pull, until something gives in the relationship and you end it, or more frequently, they end it and drop you like you're standing still and go on to the next person. All of this is to say, guys, this is a snapshot of what it does. Every narcissistic relationship across the board goes this way. How can that be possible? How do they all have the same playbook? Part 2 of this, and I'll keep this brief. Part 2 of the playbook is they all do the same strategies. So during that devaluation stage, when they're peppering you and hammering you with abuse, and they're all over you, and you're high-low, that whole thing, they're going to employ many different tactics. They're going to give you silent treatment, where you don't even exist. Hours, days. They're going to do triangulation, where they pull another person into the relationship to cause you trouble. Usually an ex, or somebody at a diner, or somebody at a grocery store, or somebody that may or may not even exist. They may just make the name up. As I've said, I've known narcissists who triangulate their spouses with deceased people who don't even exist anymore. Triangulation. Gaslighting. Make you look for items that are missing that they hid from you. Make you question everything you know. I didn't say that. It didn't happen like that. You did this. I didn't do this. You did. Crazy making, you might call it. Constant criticism. You can't cook. You can't clean. You can't drive. You're a bad partner. You're this, that. They all do these same things, guys, all throughout the devaluation stage. The bulk of the relationship is spent using these tactics. So do you see what's going on here? There is so much involved in a narcissistic relationship. They are not like a normal relationship. They're not even like being in a relationship with maybe a lazy person, or someone who's kind of a jerk, or someone who's just difficult, rough around the edges. We're not talking about this. We're talking about people who employ very set, strict tactics, as if all of them went to the same school and got the same education and got the same darn textbook to use. where they sit back and they say, I'll do this, then this, then this, then this, then we'll reach the devaluation, and then I'll do gaslighting, triangulation, silent treatment, stonewalling, criticism, blah, 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 blah. Do you see what I'm getting at? If you're wondering why I and so many others talk about narcissism like they're a specific group, a specific tribe, they're not just bad people, it's because of this. And ultimately, what is this playbook that they're working out of? Who's the author of the book? Well, you know the answer to that, don't you? Satan. This is Satan's playbook because the narcissist is a satanic foot soldier. They're a carbon copy of the devil. All of these traits that I'm talking about, all the traits you could look at with a narcissist, that they are they're liars, they're unloving, they're unempathetic, they're lovers of selves, they're in the sense that they're self-absorbed. Not that they actually have real love, but they're self-absorbed. You go down through the list, every one of these is a satanic trait. So guys, understand this. This is why, if you ever wonder, if you think, well, why does he keep talking about these people like they're a species of sorts? Because they are. They're like a demon came and hijacked a human being and then walked around the earth like a swirling vortex of evil that sucks everything in. Everyone in their lives is sucked in. And they don't do anything different. Once they have given themselves over, become reprobates, as I've talked about so frequently on other videos, from that point on, it's done. The whole rest of their lives will be spent causing chaos, destruction, and they will endlessly be on that cycle I talked about. Love bomb, get vulnerable, drop the hammer, devaluation stage, push pull, Jekyll Hyde, discard, Hoover, on to the next. Repeat. Next person they're with, same cycle. Next person with, same cycle. Over and over and over. You got to believe me, this is what they do. So in closing, the narcissist playbook gives them away. That's how you know what they are, because they're all like robots. It's like they're literally programmed and they just go through the world doing the same things. And they all do the same things. Just as the people of God, Christians, true followers of Christ, exhibit the same characteristics of goodness and purity and holiness, the narcissist is the counter to that. They're the polar opposite. They go through life exhibiting all the characteristics of Satan. They're the tares that are in the field. They're the evil ones. They're the ones that is talked about in Timothy, 2 Timothy 3, 1-5. So understand that. Understand who these people are and that the playbook gives them away. And it's astonishing. In closing, how can you explain a complete subset of people on this planet that literally play by the same playbook and do this all throughout their lives like clockwork? And once you understand them, you see it. I can spot a narcissist in most cases in a flash, just from a few things they say, oftentimes, once you know who they are. So guys, the narcissist playbook gives them away. That's how you know who they are. And they all do the same things. So until next time, hope you enjoyed this. Leave comments if you did. I'll be back with another one soon. Until then, God bless.